I'm going to share some aspects of the formula with you this morning. Now let me start by using a metaphor. As an educational institution, we are like a table. And if you think of a table has got 4 legs. And the 4 legs help the table to balance. If one leg is missing, the table will not balance. It will probably flip over. Now, as MUT, we are also a table with 4 legs. And what are these 4 legs? The one leg is the student, the learner. The other leg is the teacher, those who teach you, our lecturers. The other leg is the parent, because parents must also play a role in the education of their children. But there's another leg which is very important, and we often don't think about it. But this leg, if it's missing, no educational institution will succeed. Even when you look at the best schools, they must have this leg if they're going to succeed. And what is this 4th leg? The 4th leg is what you may call a value system or a belief system or some kind of psychology or a mindset or a worldview, whatever you want to call it. This 4th leg is something that is not tangible. You can't see it. It's intangible. But it has such a powerful impact on the other 3 legs. And it is what really makes an educational institution succeed. In other words, if you are a school or a university and you don't have a philosophy that you subscribe to, then you're going to be lost, because your teachers, your students, parents will not know what you represent, will not know what your values are, what do you prioritize. And so when you have a philosophy of a worldview, that becomes your guidance in terms of the choices that you make. And I'm going to focus on this 4th leg. And I want to talk about it in relation to yourself as a person, as a student. There is an American author, a motivational speaker, a success guru known by the name of Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, in one of his books, says that having looked at the most successful people, and that's what he's been doing throughout his life, to study what really makes people succeed. And he says that having looked at the most successful people, having studied their lives, he's come to the conclusion that success is 80% psychology and 20% mechanics. 80% psychology and 20% mechanics. Now, what does he mean by this? What he means is that the greatest contributor to personal success is your mindset. It's the way you think. your philosophy, your value system, your belief system. And that mechanics is the doing, the execution, the action. Now the mechanics only contributes 20% to success. Now, what do you think about what he is saying? And you truly examine the most successful people, the most successful nation, you realize that he has a point. The most successful people, the most successful nations in the world, they have invested in a belief system. And this is what they teach young people from home, going to school, even going into the workplace. I'll give you an example. Many people, when I'm sure sometime in your life in the future, you will have an opportunity to visit a country like Japan. Now, Japan is one of the cleanest countries in the world. You hardly see a piece of paper in Japanese cities. Japan is absolutely clean. And why is it that the Japanese do not litter? That's how they're brought up from a young age. And they believe that social discipline is a virtue. Doing things, behaving properly within a social context is a virtue. Self-control is a virtue. So it's part of their mindset, and you can see it in their own environment. All right? But if you go to a society that does not cherish cleanliness and has not taught its young people the value of cleanliness, what happens? People just litter. I see it quite often in cars. You see someone has been eating Kentucky, and then they finish. What do? They open a window, they just throw it. And they're not even thinking that what they're doing is wrong. They think it's normal to do it that way. The person is doing that because the mind has not been developed to cherish what is right. Now, what Tony Robinson says, success is 80% psychology and 20% mechanics. He is actually right. And I want you can study the most successful people. You will see that they have a different mindset. Now, what this means for you as a student is that if you are going to succeed, you must also invest in the development of your own psychology. You must develop a new mindset. And I'm going to, because I don't have much time, share with you, in fact, I want to encourage you to go and read this book. I asked the library some years ago to order multiple copies of this book, and this book is available in the library. It's called The Law of Success. The book is by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill is well known for his classic, Think and Grow Rich. What Napoleon Hill did in his lifetime was to study the most successful people in America. And he even interviewed them to say, but what has really made you stand out? He interviewed people like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Theodore Roosevelt, John D. Rockefeller, and so on and so on. Very, very rich people, very, very successful. And what they told him is that our secret is in the way we think, it's the mindset. And he had to try and find what are the different aspects of their mindset which has made them succeed. So he wrote Think and Grow Rich, meaning that if you think differently, you'll grow rich. And he's also written this book, The Law of Success. and it talks about 16 secrets for achieving wealth and prosperity. This is what the book is about. Now, I'm not going to go into all the 16 laws that he talks about. I just want to focus on 7. And I want to encourage you to go and read the others. Number 1, what Napoleon Hill says is that if you want to truly succeed, the first thing that you must do as a way of developing a new mindset is to have a definite chief aim. In other words, know exactly what you want to achieve in life. Have a goal and stick to that goal. If you don't have a goal, you're going to be aimless, right? You'll try this, if it doesn't succeed, you leave it. You try something else, if it doesn't succeed, you leave it. But if you have a definite goal, you are going to stick to it. So that is the first principle of success. Now ask yourself, what do you want to achieve out of life? I don't know what it is that you want to achieve. You can only answer that question. But you need to be able to define exactly what you want to achieve in life and stick to that. Number 2, believe in yourself. Self-belief is a critical aspect of success. It's something that differentiates the successful from the unsuccessful. If you believe in yourself, the world will also believe in you. But if you have self-doubt, the world will see that and it will not believe in you. So you need to develop this self-confidence and tell yourself that it is possible. One of the things that has made America succeed, when America was being colonized and it was expanding towards the West, they developed this philosophy of America can. America can. The former president, Barack Obama, when he was campaigning, his slogan was, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Now, if you believe you can, you will. Self-belief is important, so remember that one. Number 3, be creative. There is no problem that cannot be solved as long as you are creative. The reason why we fail to solve problems, it is because we are not creative. But if you tackle a problem from different angles, you think out of the box, you will always find a solution. God has given us the power of imagination, but sometimes we don't leverage this resource. We give up even before we make an attempt. Now, if you are going to succeed as a student and later in life, you need to learn to be creative, to be imaginative. Always think outside of the box, and you'll be surprised to find solutions. In our entrepreneurship course at MUT, this is something that we'll do later. Students are taught the value of creativity in starting a business. Quite often we think that it is difficult to start a business because of money, right? I can't start this business because I don't have money. So students are given what is called the $1 challenge. Now $1 is about 15 rands or so. Do you know that you can start a business with 15 rands? That's capital enough to start a business. And the challenge is, how do you turn that 15 rand to make more money? And this is what students are taught. That do not see the 15 rands, the $1, as an obstacle. Think of different ways to use this 15 rands to start a business. And if you allow yourself to be creative, you're going to find that actually this 15 rands, I can put it to good use in many ways. There's a book by a professor at Stanford. The title of the book is What I Wish I Knew When I Was 20. And this is what they teach students at Stanford in the US. Creativity in entrepreneurship. And they give students this $1 challenge. And she narrates, the kind of solutions students come up with to start businesses with $1. Because they free their imagination. To say the challenge is not the money, the challenge is creativity. How can I use this dollar as capital to start a business? So creativity in life is the most powerful tool that we actually underutilize. Number 4, develop self-control. Lack of self-control is one of the major causes of failure in life. Let me give you a simple example. You have a test on Monday. A friend of yours invites you to a birthday party, right? Over the weekend. They say, hey, Ngani, can we go to the beach and chill out there and have a braai and so on? Now you've got a choice to make there. If you don't have self-control over your own desires, you may end up making mistakes. Self-control is an important tool that successful people use. You need to learn to control even your own desires. Sometimes you need to postpone gratification. Young people are fond of instant gratification. We had a meeting of the Student Affairs Committee, Dr. Koyama, on, what was it? On Thursday. And the chairperson of the Student Affairs Committee said the same thing. That this is a problem with students, instant gratification. NSFAS made the learning materials allowance available. And they said, if you want a laptop, we'll get a laptop for you on credit. You pay 50% now and 50% next year. But what do students do? And this is what the SRC told us. No, students want the whole allowance. They'll buy their laptops on their own. That's what we were told. And it didn't make sense to us because if you go to Macro to buy that laptop, Macro wants cash up front. You won't get it on credit. And government was going to get it on credit for you. And you pay over 2 years. And they would get it at wholesale prices because the government buys it back. But if you go to Macro, you buy at retail prices, so it will be more expensive. But young people being young people, they wanted the cash. And what do they use the cash for? Instant gratification. So the lack of self-control emerged. And an unwise decision was taken. And that unwise decision is going to have major consequences for students. Because when lecturers go online, they are going to assume that you have the laptop. Because you took the money, you said you're going to buy a laptop. So you have no excuses to say, I don't have a gadget. Because you said you will want to opt out. This is what the SRC told us. Students want to opt out of the NSFAS scheme. They will use the money to get their own gadgets. We said, okay, if that's what they say they want, won't stand in their way, there is an allowance. But when we go online, you must have a gadget. And we know many students don't have that gadget. In fact, that allowance is already used up. There's not even a cent left. For many students, that's what has happened. And that is because there is lack of self-control. Now, if you can learn to control yourself and your desires, and learn to postpone gratification, delay gratification, you'll be a success in life. Law number 5, Napoleon Hill says, you need to be focused. This law is also links up with the first law. Have achieve aim and focus on what you want to achieve. Quite often we don't achieve what we want to achieve because we are distracted. We are paying attention to too many things. But success requires single-mindedness. If you want to succeed as a student, concentrate on your studies. Then you'll see success. Single-mindedness, focusing on one thing, that is actually a powerful secret to success. Law number 6, work well with others. Learn to work well with others. No one has ever achieved success on their own. You'll always need the support of other people. The English poet John Donne says, no man is an island entire unto itself. Every man is part of the whole. Every man is part of the whole. You can never succeed as a loner. You will always want the support and cooperation of other people. So it is in your interest to learn to cooperate with other people, to work well with others, because you will need the support of those people. Even the most successful people, the other day I was reading about our businessman in South Africa, Raymond Ackerman. The way he succeeded, with the Pick and Pay. He had to get the support of others. He didn't have even enough money to start to buy Pick and Pay. He used his severance package, but also got assistance from other people. Because you can't succeed alone. And that is why networking, having good relations, is a law of success. The last one that I want to share with you, Napoleon Hill says, if you are going to succeed, learn from your mistakes. Let mistakes become your teacher. We are often told that failure is a bad thing. And this is engraved in us from a young age. You can't fail. Yes, we don't want to fail. But if you do fail in life, leverage that failure, use it positively, turn it into a lesson. Let it become your classroom. So that failure then will have a positive effect because you've turned something negative into something positive. you've learned a powerful lesson. People who go into business, they'll tell you that, true entrepreneurs will tell you there is no failure in business. Sometimes when a person starts a business, they fail. Though the ignorant people will laugh at that person. Oh, you thought he was smart, yeah? There he is, he has failed. And people laugh at you. But if you're a true entrepreneur, you know you haven't failed. You've just learned a new lesson in a different way. Failure becomes a classroom. So you use that experience to succeed. And that is why in business, success never comes without failure. You must first fail. And if you turn that failure into a lesson, then you are going to succeed. And the same thing should also happen in your own life. Do not be discouraged that you have failed. If you write a test, you fail. Don't hit yourself and feel bad about yourself. Ask yourself, why did I fail? What can I learn from this lesson? And turn that negative experience into something positive. Now, these are the 7 laws of success that I thought I should share with you. The rest are in this book, and I'm challenging you as first-time entering students, make it your assignment to go and read Napoleon Hill's Law of Success. If you do that, you read this book, you will truly become